And hello, Fantasy Penta Army, the Poro Army. Welcome back. We are going to break down the Monday through Thursday slate. Just a little bit of news heading into this week. This is the third week, but also it's upcoming. The Chinese New Year episode's upcoming, so they're going to be taking a week off for the LPL. From my understanding, the LCK will go all the way through Sunday, but for LPL, we won't have the super weekend for LPL until February, sometime in February. I think they're only taking about a week off or so. It's sad. Every time this comes along, it kind of feels like the NBA All-Star break. There's just like nothing for the weekdays, and we'll just have to wait for the weekends for Western regions. Maybe they'll entice us with some VCS. I don't even know if they're taking a break, but definitely they can entice us with CBLOL. Always hit up your DK rep and tell them that we want more League of Legends. We love it. We've been going strong this season for after 2 weeks. Kal, man, the man is a genius of being the first to go against Damwon Kia by picking Nongshim Red Force. Damwon looking strong. They lost to Genji. That's always understandable, but for them to lose to Nongshim. And then he comes back today on Saturday telling us, look, guys, Hope looked good. I know he didn't win the first game, but he is, really bringing JDG to the forefront, and they'll beat Fun Plus Phoenix. Fun Plus Phoenix is a team that's close to my heart. But that did it again. You are in the green if you just follow Kal's advice. Hopefully, he'll be able to join me today as we break down the Monday through Thursday slate. We still, of course, have a couple of games to go, but fear not, fret not. Those write-ups, you can always review the previous show to go through the weekend. But let's dive into it. Let's start with Monday. We're back to 2-game slates for Monday and Tuesday, so less options in terms of player pool, can be very chalky. And from this one, OMG minus 475 versus LGD at plus 315. Now, I had a couple of spots where I was thinking, hey, maybe LGD can get away with it. Now, they did take a game away from, I think it was Anyone's Legend that they played, but overall, LGD is just massively behind in talent, in strategy, and all that. Now, OMG is also reeling from 2 losses, but they're losing to 2 major teams, and who can fault them for that, right? OMG is still good. They just don't have the experience yet. My boy Shanji, Abel, Cream, all of them just needs a little bit more time. Now, they do come in as a massive favorite. I don't know if I see them as a minus 400, much less a minus 475 favorite, like almost a 500 favorite against LGD. I do think that there's a potential that they're still reeling, just getting over that those major losses that they've suffered, but they should be chalk. And out of the 2 games, if people are scared off because this game is likely to be OMG likely to be the most expensive on the slate, and people are looking at recent results and see that they just lost, I'd be going heavy on 4-man OMG. The second game we have on the slate, Rare Atom plus 140 versus BLG at minus 185. Interesting that the books are still giving respect to Rare Atom. Now, Rare Atom, look good. I had them pegged as, as one that would have upset it Victory 5, but they didn't. They did make it a 3-game series, but overall that didn't matter because they got their asses whooped by Victory 5 in a fairly high scoring game for Victory 5, a 24 kill, 19 kill victory. So there is potential. Now, Rare Atom seemingly has shaking off the label that they are a slow team, that they don't give up a lot of kills. And Billy, my word, they might have slipped a little against OMG, right? The first game, but they came back and they demolished a 34 kill game in game 3. In a single game, they put up more kills than more kills than a whole series at times. So there's a lot of points to be had here, right? So potentially for GPP, we might consider going Billy Billy for a 4-man stack. It's gonna be a little bit harder to stack. Do I think Rare Adam has a chance to beat Billy Billy? Possibly, possibly. And look, our guest has finally arrived. The one and only Dwayne B.
Hi. This is Doin B. Go
We got a
LNG.
Mr. Doinby. It's finally good to see you. Is Mrs. Doinby at home?
Yeah, she's just cooking up some chow mein for me.
Awesome, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming the one and only your people's champ, Kal.
What
Kal,
up,
how are you?
fellas? I'm doing good, doing good. Just I didn't realize that you messaged me on Discord after I messaged you, so that's my fault for being a little bit late. But now I'm here, and let's kill it.
We're always going to make time for you, and you've been on a heater. I've just praised how you were able to figure out this week how to go Nongshim when nobody trusted that. You went JDG when people were still high on FPX. How do you do it? What is your secret?
Countless VOD reviews and being more rational than anything else in early season. Some of these teams will start out slow. Like if you look at Vitality, if we're gonna not talk about Eastern regions, Vitality is one of those good examples where they're playing very well this second week compared to the first week. It takes teams a little bit of time just to get used to the meta and stuff. So I mean, just teams, ended up adjusting and looking good overall throughout the season. So, sometimes you gotta take risks. Sometimes you gotta do an eye test instead of going off of metrics.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I really learned throughout my years, and that's why I've been so successful and consistent. Was that sometimes, like I said, metrics is a great tool to have, but sometimes your metrics are going to be a little bit off.
Yeah. If you follow the metrics, that's great for like your cash, your small field GPP, like those single entry. But if you want the big one, you gotta take some of chances and not just randomly pick a chance. You gotta know what you're looking for. You gotta know what you're paying attention to. Now, for you and I, when we did the preview show, we were both still high on FPX. And so, did this game change anything for you? Is it just because JDG brought in hope, or is this like just one of those FPX game where they just have a letdown, or are we seeing a backsliding?
I'm pretty high on this JDG team in general. Just because Kanavi is great. Bringing back Hope, I think, is still good. People really underestimate how good Yagao is, and I made a comment on the Discord. Yagao used to be one of those carries that people like really loved. If you go back and look at like Frost Garen or whoever, they rated Yagao really highly. It's just I think the bottom lane with Lamau and whoever the hell the bottom lane was. Yeah, well, no, it's not LPC.
Yeah.
They were just average. You know what I mean? But I think Yagao having some less pressure in the bot lane is really opening up to his carry potential that we've seen. And I know people are still giving 369 flack. I give him flack too, but I think he's serviceable enough that he's not going to lose him games.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, there was Kanavi not pooping the bed, if you will.
Yeah.
Today, that really changed the course. So JDG is digging themselves out of that hole. They had a slow start to the season. We may or may not see Clid, and we're talking about FPX because they're going to be on this slate from the Monday through Thursday. We're going to talk about them in the upcoming. Now, I covered Monday fairly quickly. We have OMG at minus 475 versus LGD at plus 315. Where's your lean in this one? Do we eat the chalk? Do we think that there's potential for something sneaky?
Nah, Team OMG, they've been playing really well, and I'm kind of surprised at how well they're playing in general. So I really liked them a lot. I mean, they played really well this morning as well. So they're a team that really surprised me. I mean, I'm a big OMG fan, but they actually really surprised me this year.
Yeah, they translated that Demacia Cup kind of style, and they still are going to bring that in. And I don't think they should change their formula. I think they just need more experience and grow into that one. LGD just looks like shit, man.
LGD has smart game plans. It's just I just think that, man, they just really need to work on just their mid to late game. They just
Mhm.
get decent leads and then they just kind of shit the sheets.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. It's all on Shadow, or it's bust.
Yep.
And then the second game, we have Rare Adam giving a respectable plus 140 versus Billy Billy and minus 185. How are people like not like jamming Billy Billy after what they saw they did in their last game?
It's I think Rare Adam is good. People are still hesitant. I'm still a little bit hesitant on Billy Billy because I mean they shouldn't be. I mean I don't know. They shouldn't be really like losing a game or two. It reminds me of the old Invictus where like you expect them to 2-0, but they always drop that one game. And I think they still have still some growing pains left. I think Doggo is. I think if BLG loses early, and this is the biggest thing with Doggo is not that aggressive ADC. His laning is not that great either, to be honest with you. I know some people are going to give me a hard time about that, but if you look, like Doggo is just like either like 2-6 or like 0-5, and then all of a sudden like his team protects him in the late game, and he kind of pops off at the end. But if you rewatch all of his games, like he does not have a great start. And so if you get ahead of Billy early, it's easily punishable against them.
It's very true. Both games that Billy play, they play a 3-game series, and it's the first game where you see Doggo being invisible or not helping the team at all. And game 2 and 3, he just hyper carries, but
Yeah.
the team has
And
it very easy for him.
the thing is that when Uzi plays, like they're gonna have to start giving more resources towards the bot lane. Not saying they don't in general, but that's the Uzi way, right? Like
Yeah.
if you don't give Uzi the resources, like what are you doing? So hopefully they can start doing that with Doggo because that's how they're gonna have to learn how to play.
Mhm.
They can't play
Yeah.
top side. Uzi, Uzi is good enough to play by to lane by himself, but when he's gonna when he starts like RNG, they're gonna have to learn to play through him. So
Yeah,
it's Uzi or no way out.
It does seem like Billy doesn't have to change their game plan too much when they make that swap to Uzi from time to time, but Uzi is definitely a man of its own different category in the
Oh, yeah.
ADC tier. All right, let's talk Tuesday. We have Thunder Talk at plus 210 versus Anyone's Legend at minus 285. Fair? Maybe? Anyone's Legend has been playing like solid game for me.
Same thing as LGD. I think they get good leads. It's just they just can't close out games. TT
Yeah.
just looks horrible. Like
Oh
they
my
just
God.
they just look really bad. But I agree with you. I think the line's pretty much right on how Anyone's Legend's been playing. So
If you do take a chance on TT, now remember TT did take a game away from Weibo, which is something to not like
I'm
shy
not
away from.
surprised because the shy.
Yeah, that's shy. Oh, just
That's-
have to like I gotta give my buddies a win.
That's all you gotta need to know is the shy.
It's just the bot lane that I'll be interested in if you ever remotely think about playing TT in my lineup.
Yeah.
Stacking that down.
I totally agree with you on that one.
And then the second game, there's no odds. It's Invictus against Ultra Prime here. I think Ultra Prime has shown us that they have a game plan in mind, that they can pull off wins. I mean, they beat LGD. Now it's the only win that they have in a 3-game series. Do you think Invictus would be the favorite here or Ultra?
I feel like Ultra would be the favorites here in this one. They showed play a little bit better. This is the Tuesday slate, right?
Yep. This is
So I mean, they're not starting. I think IG plays tomorrow. They're not starting. Ukiji or whatever his name is.
Yuekai, I think they benched Xiaoyeji for On last time.
Oh yeah, so I think On's playing again.
Okay.
So On's playing again. So I think they're just experimenting with the bot lane. So that's the biggest thing. I think Elk is really good. So that's pretty much a bot diff in that game.
True. Elk was amazing in that win. I mean, he was the stat guy, right?
Yeah.
The DFS guy that you needed. 11-2-7 was his one of his game scoring line. Whew. Spicy, but if Ultra Prime comes in as favorite, I think Anyone Legends is favorite. That's gonna be a fave kind of slate here. Chalk.
Yeah.
I'll chalk it up.
A little bit chalky, but I mean the big stack I'll go with is Anyone's Legend. That game's going to be a shootout, to be honest with you. Two teams who really can't close games out. you're looking for a disaster. So if you want to get a little spicy, a game stack, if they can
Mhm.
get you know
Mhm.
a game in. So I like the game stack for the first game. If you want to be different, but that's a game you want to target the most.
Yeah, there is no a better time to do so than in a 2 game slate to try for a game stack when everyone's trying to jam in like favorites. All right, moving on. Wednesday, Weibo. There's no odds. Weibo against Victory 5. This should be a banger.
Let's see. What do you think? What do you think on this one? What do you think? What do you think how Weibo is playing right now? Because I see so many people on Twitter and like I was just saying that Weibo is really good and they're playing the game that was supposed to be played, which I completely kind of disagree a little bit.
I don't know if I completely disagree, but I do disagree that that's how the game should be played. Victory 5, since they brought in Rich, he has just been weak side. Does babysits the top lane, doesn't really. I didn't see him do too much to kind of push that advantage there, but he's not losing lane. The team goes as Karsa goes. If Karsa, for me, if he's not getting anything done, he's getting out jungled. Now that's a big tall order for SFM, but if it can happen. That happens, then Weibo has plenty of chances to make this a close game and maybe even outright take a 2-1 victory.
Yeah, no, it's close for me. I think Carson and Rookie are playing out of their minds right now. Like they're legit like the mid jungle duo synergy that you want to see in a team. Like it's really rare to see Carson ever like do bad. It's pretty much a top lane liability. Rich is serviceable. Bottom lane, I actually thought that they were going to get stomped on this year, but PB God really stepped it up again. Vodek, not bad as well. No Huan Fang, but I really think we will kind of take a little step back a little bit. I don't think they have a really true identity of what they want to play because sometimes they want to play a little more aggressive in the early game. Then the next they're drafting for a scaling comp and try to play through Huan Fang, but Shy can't play scaling comp, play in a scaling comp like at all. And we saw that like literally almost every single game he's played. So
the loss against Thunder Talk Gaming, you had to Shy on Gragas, tank Gragas. That did not work out.
No, not at all. Like he cannot play weak side. He just cannot play any scaling. So that's the problem they're gonna run into.
I think that's the identity issue too, right? Because you see the Shy just run into like a fight, and everyone else is trying to catch up, and that's how they get wiped out. I mean, that was the early season video you see there. So Weibo has got to figure out how to balance aggression and solid gameplay. But I do lean Victory 5 here overall, like you mentioned. We'll talk later in some capacity about like Fodek. I think for now the preview is in my head he's Jackie's love understudy. Just screams like similar type of playstyle.
Yep.
And so let's go to the next game. Well, your namesake LNG and Mr. Doinby minus 220 against FPX at plus 165. Now,
man, that's a. I'm to be honest. I think those lines are correct.
It's just right. I don't know.
I think it's just right because FPX are good. Like 100%, I give FPX props. And if you guys ever listen to the probably like the first show ever, like I was really high on FPX coming in. Was really downgrading LNG, but then LNG kind of really showed me like they can play. Light once again starting off the season incredible, like the best DPS in the entire LPL. He's got Lamau, who's actually a little bit more engaging now. So to be honest, JG probably had an ADC diff. So Lamau looking really good. Doing B's always going to be doing me. Tarzan, we know what he's able to do. Ale, kind of sketch, but he's holding on by a thread up there. He's sitting up there.
I thought he was much better last year. I don't know what happened this year. It's just
maybe less jungle attention. This team from roster top to bottom is actually showing up. They can play. They're really good at controlling the tempo in games, and that's the one thing I preach about any LPL teams is if you know how to control the tempo in the LPL, like you will win 90% of the games.
Hmm. And that is like, is this your meta basically? And for them, I would probably lean LNG for now, and I'll be interested to see if they're actually going to make the switch at jungler. Klit's been waiting in the wings. Just quick breaking news because this is for Sunday. Xiao Yeji is coming back to the starting lineup.
Okay, I thought it was on. Nice. Still doesn't change the needle.
Nope, it does
Nice.
not.
Doesn't change the needle. Maybe a little bit more competitive, but
Mhm.
I think RNG is gonna RNG should beat him. I don't know. RNG is kind of looking sketchy too.
Right. Oh
They
my god.
are they scare me in about every single game they play. I don't care how hard they stomp at the end, or where they start. Like this team is always giving me a heart attack.
Dear Lord, isn't that correct? And we'll get to talk about them. We'll get to talk. Wait, yeah, they are going to be on this show as well. Uh, Now, big picture talk. Some of the LCK games have been competitive and scored well, but overall, if we kind of take the median, it's still on the average side. So we may be interested in one of these games. One of the LCK games on the Wednesday slate is going to be Genji against KDF.
Yeah, Genji has been very good this year, and I made a note that Genji has 100% first blood rate, and that's like usually at like 5 minutes. They're playing at a different tempo than other teams. Like Genji, we've known Genji for like a slow team, and starting last year, they've actually been picking up the pace a little bit, the tempo. Their average game time has dropped by like 4 or 5 minutes, which is a lot, to be
Ooh.
honest with you. Um, Freddie Breon is the most at 39 minutes, and then Genji is at like 35. So they
Ooh.
drop. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but within those 5 minutes, 5, 6 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever, a lot can happen. So
Yeah.
Genji playing at a faster pace. And then the Freaks also
Mhm.
pretty much ending their entire season. Like they've looked horrible. Like they've like really horrible. Like they I've never seen a team face check bushes so much. Like it's just I don't know what the coaching staff is like or is thinking about. They have Kane, who's
Let me
everyone knows
see.
Kane has been pretty good.
Yeah.
But with a team like Teddy, Hoyt, Keen, even with Elam, like you would think this roster is better, but like it's just tough. It's just tough for this team. I think there's huge upside, and Doran, underratedly, the best top laner in the world right now.
Ooh, in the world. We're not even talking
Right?
about a region. In the world.
Nope. In the world right now. If you watch this guy play, this guy's on a different level. He's starting to become more carry role oriented. Like he played like the Scion, the Aatrox. I mean, the Aatrox is kind of a carry, but more just sitting back farming. But this year he's taking it another level, and like if you actually look at his DFS scores as well, it translates on how well he's playing. He's probably the best like top laner scorer. Like
Top laner score. Yeah.
yeah, but he's
We. Mhm.
no. I'm gonna say that Thorn was one of the guys that I thought that was gonna be kind of a liability, but nope, he's really good. He really stepped it up.
Yeah. We are looking for those top laners because most people don't think about playing their top laners or prioritizing the top laners. If he can bring that forth, that gives you a lot of salary saving and even play him and captain for some of your builds. May not have to go that route because I think most people will be on the LPL games, but we're open to the idea that Genji could be a team that you would want to play at least for cash. There's some safe for there. The next game, almost no DFS value there. We have DRX versus Freddie Breon.
Yep.
Yep.
Pretty much a pass. I think Freddie Breon beats him. I think Freddie is really good this year. They're 1-3, but their overall record doesn't show how well they're playing. Like even against like DK, like they put up a good fight, but they took a game off Nongshin, they took a game off Genji, they took a game off T1. So it's like this team gets it. This team honestly gets it. So I think Fred is going to be the favorite that day. So
Should be.
if they're an underdog, I would play them. To be honest with you, like I really like them. But if they're favorites, probably not.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
probably pass on that game.
There's some spot starts here. Umti is one of the ones that I would play. Their team
Mhm.
slot. things on that nature. But it's hard just to see like DRX being favored in anything. Eventually, they will win a game. I promise you, they are not as bad as they show. They just play an outdated style, and all in all, not working in this meta. All right, heading into Thursday, guys. We are. I know Cal, you weren't here, but I did mention this is actually the last LPL game of the week because they're going to take their Chinese New Year break, and we're going to be left without games for a long time from the Eastern regions. We still have some LCK games, but I was excited for those in the weekends when it's only like a 2-game slate. Thursday, Top Esports minus 325 against OMG plus 230. I need to see what happens with TS after Sunday first. But
hot take for speaking on that topic. V5 beats Top Esports tomorrow. You got the revenge narrative and Karsa. Love those. Karsa is way better than both the junglers, in my opinion. Zoom. Sorry, Corey, but Zoom's pretty much washed, dog.
Yeah.
Pretty much washed. Yeah.
He should have retained 369.
Yep. To be honest, it's 100%. Man, TS is really good. Jackie Love's been inting the bot lane, so hopefully Photic and PP God, same thing. Photic revenge game, it's all sets up for V5's win narrative. 2-1 V5.
2-1 V5, right? And they're priced as underdogs too, so I don't know how people are not just gonna jam them in. It's too easy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But this TS against OMG again. OMG has a rough like couple of past games, right? They get against V5, they had to play against Billy. Now they get to play against TS.
Yep.
Do they stand a chance here?
Nah, I honestly don't think so. It's just, I want to say it's a mid diff, but take out Akali, it's a mid diff. Bottom lane, it's a diff too. TS is really good. It's still really good. OMGs are always going to get better. It's just that they're stuck in a rough patch of playing really good teams, and it takes a toll on you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It takes a toll on you, especially being the last day of the LPL before the break.
For sure.
I don't know what teams are packing in, but usually the lower teams, depending on where they're standing, they know by then like they're not going to make playoffs or not. So you can see OMG either packing in it, or even if TES wins against V5, I can see them packing it too, which makes OMG decent GPP for a 2-game slate. But something that we're going to keep an eye on for tomorrow's game.
Yeah. Absolutely, and this is a good time for them to reevaluate their game plan. They're gonna miss a couple of patch updates with their break incoming, but it's a good time for the team that needs to reevaluate why the season's not going as I thought for TES. So they belong in the bottom of maybe the good teams for me still. And until they show me something different, like beating Victory 5 tomorrow, if possible, I'm just gonna put them down there. Next game, like I kind of previewed earlier. Now, Royal Never Give Up, minus 145, coming in as a favorite against Billy Gaming at plus 110. This has got to be a spot where they try to run out Uzi just for funds, right?
I hope so. I really hope so, because after I hope so, to get him warmed up, right? Because usually after the break, Uzi comes in and play. So I could see Billy just playing doggo, because that might be his last time playing the split. We've seen that before, in RNG, where Uzi takes a whole week or the whole month off, and then returns right after the new year. And so this could be the same with BLG. Who knows? But hopefully we get the Uzi narrative and Uzi plays. But don't get your hopes up. It's always maintenance for Uzi.
Speaking of which, what do you think about the odds? RNG coming in as the favorite. Should they be?
Yeah. I know it pains me to say that they should be the favorites. I think RNG showed better macro than BLG. Like I said, if RNG gets ahead early, which they're trying to get ahead early, I know their early game is getting a little better. That they can honestly take this BLG team. I mean, everyone is so hype up on this BLG team, like I get it. Like you have Doggo, you have Uzi. Doggo's great. Like I said, and we've witnessed the flaws of Doggo. But if you honestly look at this roster, right? Um, Breathe is serviceable. Like Weiwei, I mean he's good, but he's nothing like crazy. Fofo, we know how good Fofo can be. He's a little more consistent this year than last year, but it's not like a super team where you expect. Like RNG, like Gala, Ming, Jiahu, Ben, who's been playing, who started off slow now is playing really well. Wei, one of the best junglers last season too. It's, you know, I just think that if RNG can play to the win conditions better, like they would be the best team aside from EDG. Like they would be ranked second, because I know I had a lot of people rank EDG then BLG second, and like RNG was pretty low in some of the rankings that I've seen. So, they just gotta play to the win conditions better, and honestly, like no one could beat them.
The team is really super carried by Xiaohu. I mean, I'm looking at the kill participation and the stats. Like even in wins, it's all mainly been Xiaohu trying to like pull this team together.
Yep.
Wei needs to snap out of it. I don't know what's happening with him, but the bot lane is also something that is a bit of a concern. Overall, though, I do think Billy might be a heavy like super owned, and this can give you that ownership discount by going to RNG. It's going to cost you a little bit, but also talking from a DFS standpoint, RNG games have not been bloody.
No, they haven't been. They haven't been too bloody at all. They and it's weird because they are the second most the second slowest team in LPL at 34 minutes, and 34 minutes is actually the fastest time in the LCK, which is the funny part. This is EDG's average game time is 29 minutes. If you want to take that in perspective.
Ugh.
But like I said about RNG's early game, they have a 73% first blood rate, which is the best in the league. And they are around the middle of the pack, around 58% on first dragon as well. So they have a lot of things going with them statistically wise, and so this is where Billy falters. It's like if they don't get ahead, they could pretty much just lose out.
Right.
They don't have that in-game leader that's going to take over and be like, this is what we need to do. At least RNG has Xiaohu. They have Ming. They have two guys on the team who can steer this team in the right direction.
Absolutely, and it is a bit of a criticism of RNG that I saw that they play like last year. They can get ahead early and then they kind of stall a bit.
Yeah,
and they cannot do that against Billy. And I don't think that they will, because they're not going to underestimate this team. All right, so now we have to turn to the LCK games that are available for us to pick if we are not too bullish on the RNG Billy gaming for our DFS stack. Now we start off with KT Rolster against Live Sandbox. There are no odds yet for this game. KTR has been, a solid team. I don't think I love them for DFS, but they certainly gave me some spots where I like Rascal. He's been playing Akali. If you let Akali go for free, Cuz has been okay, and it's a very good team. And Live Sandbox has just been experimenting around. Their only victory comes against the RX.
Yeah, no, 100%. Both teams, play pretty slow. They're not really like anything special in like kills and stuff like that. They're pretty much ranked at the bottom in average kills per minute. So, so I don't want to expect anything much of this game. If I'm gonna roll a team out, I think KT looks pretty good. KT's pretty good. Sandbox is, like you said, is pretty much just trying so many different things, and it's just not. I mean, they're doing the same thing they did last year, trying so many different things, and they're kind of just running it. You know what I mean? Like I said, Sandbox is like second to last in KD, second to last in average kills per minute. So not a team that I really want to, target. I mean, I guess not a game that I really like. So, but on the KT side,
yeah, makes sense. I think the team slot might be the most best value there.
Yeah.
And then we are gonna wrap up that Thursday with T1 against your boy Yangshim.
Banger of a game. Banger of a game. Like, this is going to be a straight shootout, and I love it. I honestly love this game for a straight shooter. Tough game to really depict here.
Pick a side,
Just
yeah.
just because I mean T1 really hasn't had a tough schedule. Like
Mm-mm.
they played, the Freaks, they played the Bros, and I think they played DRX. I mean, you would expect them to 3-0, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
Nongshim actually had the harder schedule, just a little bit. Um,
Oh, they played against the Damwon. I mean, come on now.
yeah,
Beat
I mean,
Damwon.
and they beat Damwon. They beat Damwon. They beat Sandbox, who everyone thought was really good at the beginning, and
Mm-hmm.
Nongshim came out. Notching did drop a game to KT, but that was kind of more of a draft difference. Like, if you lose draft, you lose the game.
Right.
It's gonna be a test for T1 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a test for T1. I like the pace that they're playing right now. They're playing at an incredible pace, and both teams are like they're like straight up like average game times are just straight up like middle of the pack, but the average kill per minutes are near the top, for sure. It's T1 actually leads. All right, my bad on the Genji. T1 actually leads on the first blood. So all the games that they played, all 6 games, they got first blood in all 6 games. Nongshim is right behind him at 73%. And think about it, like Nongshim had a harder schedule. So I think that if Nongshim can get ahead early, steamrolls T1, I think that's a possibility. T1 kind of holds on a little bit, because probably maybe scale to late game. I think that's where they beat Nongshim. Nongshim is pretty bad when it comes to late game. We see him throw a lot of fights, and uh, that's because effort, um, effort and Dread are really not on the same page when it comes to engaging. So like Dread is always trying to go in, like literally trying to go in and in, and that's what he's known for, and everyone praises him for that. Effort's kind of more of like that passive support, whereas like, all right, well, we're gonna scale or we're gonna lane, and then if something happens, I'm just gonna go in. But sometimes there's that little delay where it's like, all right, Dread goes in, Ghost is going in, and Effort's kind of sitting in the back. It's like, all right, well, let me catch up, boys. you know,
Just for our viewers' sake, though, Nashim has been starting Peter over Effort for a while, and
Peter, yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
he,
Sorry, not Effort.
right, okay. So yes, Peter might be inexperienced because we
Yes.
haven't really seen him on the stage as much as Effort, who is more experienced, but could be both that suffering the same thing, right? Are you going in? I don't know. Are you going in? I'll go
Yeah.
in, and then he's like, okay, I'm coming. Like 2 ticks later, and that's all it takes to lose a fight.
Yeah, and because if you're going against Carrier, like
Ooh.
that's tough because Carrier is
Mhm.
very decisive. Like Carrier and Gumayusi are one of the two most decisive bot laners in the LCK. Like they engage, they're always in with each other. Same with Zeus, and Owner, same exact thing. They're always on the same page. So if Nongshim can basically clean up their micro a little bit, I think they could beat T1. And it's a good shot for an underdog that day on a 4 game slate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just to summarize, this might be a slate where we have more interest in one LPL and one LCK game. If you do decide to fade the RNG game, I don't know. We'll have to see how the pricing kind of sets out for us. Might make it hard or might be way too easy. Definitely Nongshim is the underdog here. That would be my guess.
Yeah, Onashim should be the underdog here, unless they take into account that they beat down one, they're the favorites. Then I would go T1.
Right. And looking at T1's schedule, who they face, they're not even facing anyone strong tomorrow either. Anyways, that will wrap it up for our Monday through Thursday kind of preview. Cal, what are you gonna do when the LPL is on break?
Well, if you go and follow the fantasy penta, we've been doing CS:GO. We cashed yesterday. We got some downtime, so you got some CS:GO. Hopefully, Call of Duty comes back. We got a guy for that. Don't want to watch. I mean, LCK games are kind of boring, but there's other esports that I'm gonna play. So if you guys want to join in and make some extra cash on other esports, the fantasy penta is where it's at.
Guys, when he's on a heater, he's on a heater. Better sign up. Tell your friends. Tell your friends about it. This is all like, for our subs, but tell your friends. Let's grow this and let the people know that Fantasy Penta offers you a lot of a way to build your bankroll and maybe even bank. We have a couple of people who took down some major GPP this week.
Yeah, it's been, our members have been really crushing it. And the one thing that we do is like, we give out cores, we give articles, and we actually teach, our members actually how to really construct your lineup and go different routes. Like it's not everyone like tying or we have a train like other providers do. We actually, really focus on lineup construction. People always ask questions, and that's why you see guys, take down slates because we over here just express more than just a simple here's a line, play it, hopefully we cash.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see you all. Love you guys. Tune back with us for next the weekend games soon. All right. Peace.
See you guys.